Hello and welcome to this Business Extra podcast from The National with me, David Dunn. Joining us today is Irfan Tansel, who's CEO of Masaood Automobiles, a name very familiar in the UAE. With over 40 years of experience in the automobile and automotive sector, he is here to discuss the future of mobility, as well as the current look of the UAE's automotive sector, as the industry undergoes some pretty interesting developments at the moment. Welcome, Irfan.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, mobility has been embracing an evolution via technologies such as autonomous vehicles, customer preferences, including digitisation, as they seek greater convenience and connectivity. Now, what technologies and technology advancements have had the most significant impact on the industry, in your view?
I think you summed it up all already in your question. Yeah, I think, obviously the autonomous drive is one that has been evolving since, and these are nothing new really, because it started 25 years ago. Some of those systems getting into the cars, providing convenience and safety for the drivers and passengers. Electrification is one that is all around us right now with EV cars, hybrids. But what's most significant that touches the drivers and owners and passengers' life is the connectivity of the cars. So today the cars are very much a little mobile phones in your hand, and they can do everything that a mobile phone can do.
Okay, so a lot's happening now. What do you see as the sort of developments, I guess, immediately around the corner and perhaps in the next sort of 10 years? Where do you see us going? And maybe what do you see the cars of tomorrow being capable of?
Yeah, I think we have to take a look at stages. And the first stage is now the connectivity that's up and running, and more features are coming into the cars. The cars are talking to the humans, the passengers, communicating, but they're also talking to other cars and other systems on the road, providing convenience, for letting people know about the stress on the road, the weather conditions. And if it goes as far as, checking your heart rates and making sure that you're not feeling dizzy and sleepy. It's maybe not applicable here in the UAE, but in the West, there are systems already being developed. For example, when you had alcohol in your blood, the car doesn't stop. It doesn't start.
Wow.
So there is a lot more coming up, and these connectivities, these smart systems in the cars are going to continue making the lives of the drivers more convenient and more safety.
Okay. I guess what used to be seen as, people saw entertainment in the car as being kind of, the step forward, but these things sound like a dramatic development.
It is. And I remember, for example, years ago when I was working for a luxury brand, from 2002 onwards. And since 2002, I have never driven a car and owned a car that didn't have Distronic, because it was existing already in 2002. The car was measuring the distance between you and the car in front, and the cruise control was adaptive. So when you're driving from Abu Dhabi to Dubai, you don't really have to accelerate or decelerate, or the car does it and keeps the distance. And I got used to it. And this is now like over 20 years ago that this system was in the automotive. But what the general public is experiencing right now is multiple of these systems are coming into the car and making very exciting to have an ownership, but also very convenient. So connectivity is one thing that's going to continue to drive, and it's been driving, it's going to continue to drive. Electrification, hybrid is another one that is revolutionizing the industry. I'm pausing a little bit because you got to watch what is happening in the world of automotive in terms of electrification. The electrification of the cars and net zero is mainly driven and has been driven by legislation, by the governments with the pledge of net zero, Paris agreements that the governments have taken. It wasn't really driven by the consumers. So, and therefore, there was a huge hype on electrification over the past 6-7 years. And it's slowing down now. It is slowing down because, again, back to original, because it wasn't driven by consumers. Connectivity is driven by consumers. Consumers like, and electrification was driven by legislation, by governments, with subsidies to attract consumers to buy those cars. And now, one after another in the West, the governments are taking the subsidies away. And the cars are becoming more expensive, and the consumers are going back to their original buying behavior and going for more hybrid, still, environment conscious hybrid rather than full electric. Because electric also has the handicap of infrastructure everywhere around the world. UAE is doing massive investments in those areas. It's probably leading many countries in the world. So that's a midterm item. The autonomous drive is a little bit longer term, because autonomous driving has, again, a lot of legislation issues that needs to be sorted. I mean, when somebody is not driving a car, and if anything happens on the road, who's responsible for it? So there are lawyers involved. In terms of technology, the cars are today available, and the technology is available to have autonomous vehicles. And Abu Dhabi is one of those that are leading. They're testing in Saadiyat and Yas Island autonomous vehicles. And the reports that we are receiving, they are doing very well. But still, it's got some more time to sort out the responsibility and accountability areas.
So one of the things you touched on there was the kind of customer choice and driving the market now, which brings us nicely onto the retail element. I mean, and one of the things you have now is that customers and potential customers have more choice. They have more access to information. They're not necessarily relying on a physical showroom, and the chances are when they're visiting one, they've already begun their retail journey online. They've done the research. They've looked into. They maybe have their parameters of efficiency or all kinds of things. Now, how do you see the role of dealerships, I guess, changing, such as with yourselves, Al Masaood? How do you adapt, and how do you kind of continue that kind of frictionless sort of relationship between the online world and the physical kind of selling space?
Yes. I think there has been a lot of debates 4 or 5 years ago. Oh my God, the showrooms are going to disappear. Bricks and walls are going to go because the information is available on the phone and the web and the digital platforms. But the reality is, purchasing a car is still the second highest purchase that people do, apart from buying a house. So everybody wants to feel and touch and smell the brand new car, and they want to experience it before they make that investment. But it is still changing, because the journey of the purchase funnel starts from digital. So, the moment you think of anything today, forget automotive, but anything, first thing you do, you take your mobile phone and then ask your friend Google, right? How much is this? What is this? What are the features and what colors? And then on the cars. And then you get into pricing. So before you physically get involved with the vehicle, you already know what you want. So that's therefore, for example, the showroom visits of customers. 15 years ago, they used to go in average 6 to 7 times to the showroom before they did the purchase. Today, it's less than 1.5 visits because they're already aware. They already made up their minds what they want and how they want it and everything else. So, but the showroom is still there and showroom needs to be there. The purpose of showrooms are also changing. I mean, as an example, we have refurbished our Musafa facility, which is the world's largest Nissan facility, with 162 bays of a workshop facility, with large showroom, coffee shops. It's very digital, and it has a seamless connection from online to offline. But it's also a brand experience center for customers to experience the brand. And we have managed to establish that. And we had the owner as well of Nissan CEO during his visit to unveil the new facility. So the purpose of the showrooms have changed, but also this multiple showroom needs has disappeared. So you do need one, you do need centralized, convenient for customers, but you don't need to have 10 showrooms anymore. So people are investing more on digital platforms and digital connectivities, digital touch points of customers. Okay. That's what we did.
So would you say, I mean, that kind of innovation and that, I guess, diversification in incorporating that in what you're doing? You mentioned obviously that the Musafa
facility,
which sounds like a sort of state of the art. I mean, you've enhanced the physical experience, beyond obviously the digital realm. The digital realm gets them there, but the physical experience is now greater. And I mean, how does that kind of seal the deal, I guess, for a customer?
Yeah, because the information is already available. People have made their choices. They just want to see the life experience of the brand, and they want to experience the product itself. So they'll have a test drive, and we have wonderful sales teams there that are consulting more customers than selling. And we made sure in our processes, for example, that whatever the customer needs, may it be tinting, some additional fixtures, or finance schemes, or service contracts for long-term peace of mind packages, we provide them all in one spot. So one-stop shop.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, we'll take just, I guess, sticking with this sort of scenario in the UAE. Are you able to share some sort of recent updates in the local kind of, I guess, automotive landscape, such as, I guess, one of the things you've introduced, the technologically superior new Patrol, and I believe you had the launch and the premiere in Abu Dhabi?
Yes. We that was our highlight in 2024. We had the privilege of launching the iconic new Nissan Patrol, and it was revealed globally in Abu Dhabi. So we had the Nissan CEO here, the whole C-level of the global media was there. And that shows, one, the Abu Dhabi's importance in Nissan world. And I think we'll talk about this maybe a little bit more, why and how Abu Dhabi. But it has highlighted, of course, that the venue that was chosen by Nissan Global to be Abu Dhabi says a lot about this part of the world and people's connections to the vehicle itself. We were very privileged. Yes, we had a wonderful time.
Okay, I mean, obviously, one of the things sticking with the Patrol, it's an iconic vehicle. It's very much, I think, if you're a long-term expat living in the UAE, the chances are you've driven one or owned one at some point, and if not, continue to do so. What do you think it is about this vehicle that's made it it's kind of created a culture of its own? It's owned by millions of families. It's part of the family. What is it about this vehicle that kind of has won the hearts of so many motorists?
I think it has a long legacy. It's a piece of heritage of our beloved country in the United Arab Emirates. I think initially it has started with its off-road capabilities. The vehicle Patrol is existing since 70 years. And just imagine it during those days of 50 years, 60 years ago, when this wonderful 6, 7, 8 lane highways were not existing. They had to travel. And one of the best vehicles they could buy or they could get was Nissan Patrol, because it was, as its reputation said, it was the hero of all terrains. So that was the beginning of this connection. But then, it has developed to be much more than an off-road vehicle, because today, for example, when you look at the new Nissan Patrol, it has the most latest technologies that exist in any vehicle in the world. So it has moved, while keeping the off-road capability, it has moved on to day-to-day use of vehicle. It's luxury, it provides convenience, and it became, from grandfather to son to grandchildren, and it is part of the culture and heritage of Abu Dhabi right now.
So I say the roads of the UAE would seem pretty much empty without them.
Yeah.
But also, you say it's obviously built to endure in terms of historically as well as ownership. Now, I guess Al Masaood has some stories of, I guess, this sort of loyalty, but also people's love sort of firsthand, and where they've shared it through the generations. And I think also the changing demographic as well. I think you started to see a shift in who else buys these things.
True. I mean, obviously in my professional life, I have worked for different brands, but I have never come across where the audience, the customers, are so attached to a vehicle that they started writing poems.
Oh, really?
Yes, we received poems about, about Patrol and Al Masaood, and this is not one. There are multiple of those. We have fan bases. The people are crazy about the car because they are in love with the car, because the car does everything that they want to do. It's part of the family, and it's increasing. Today we are seeing, for example, shift also from Emirati ladies buying more and more Nissan Patrol, which you would think this huge car, muscular, must be men. It's not. And to sum it all up, I just got 2024 numbers that are being published. In that segment of vehicle SUVF, we have ruled Abu Dhabi at 72% of market share.
Wow.
And that is all to the credit of this long heritage, plus, the product itself maintaining its durability, maintaining its sophistication, maintaining its comfort and safety for our customers.
So it's kind of a hard vehicle in a way to improve, but they do still improve it, and it kind of in a way it sells itself because of its legacy, but at the same time, I guess you're still introducing it to a new generation.
There is an element to that. Let me take a little bit of credit for Al Masaood and for my team. Abu Dhabi Nissan retails. Nissan is the number one brand retailing cars. And that has obviously some impact of, what my team or my organization does and did in the past for the past 50 years. So there is an accumulation because, we in our organization, the number one thing we do is we do everything around customers. So we have, in my board, for example, we have board member that's responsible for customer experience. So any plans, any strategies that we develop, we put customer in the middle, and then we think everything what we want to do around the customers. And our customer satisfaction surveys indicate the progress that we do. We still have to do a lot, right? Competition is tough out there. There are more and more brands coming into UAE, as we all see out on the road. Even with the onslaught of new brands in 2024, for example, we have managed to increase our market share, and we have managed to increase our vehicle sales massively.
Okay. Right, I'm going to take you back a little bit now. Obviously, that's the now. Now, the yesteryear. Now, obviously, we've mentioned you've got more than 40 years in the industry.
Yes.
Now, I believe you began your career in motoring actually your journey as a teenage apprentice in a car workshop.
Yes.
Now, what do you think I mean, I guess you got the bug there, but what were your expectations then, and how would you say they perhaps evolved alongside your skill set as a business leader now?
I think it went from stage to stage. Like the footballers always say, right? So today we focus about the game today. Yes, we have a long-term plan. We want to become champions, but we have to take it step by step, game by game, and that's actually how it has happened. When I was 15 years old, growing up in Germany, being an apprentice in a car workshop, of course, I didn't have the dream of becoming a CEO of Al Masaood Automobiles and being where I am today. But it evolved bit by bit. You were here, and then you worked your way up to the next level and next level. But I think along the journey, the most important thing was, for me, it was about consistency. It was about disciplined approach, which may be related to me having grown up in Germany, because Germany is very known for its efficiency and discipline. But then again, I come from Turkey. I'm a Middle Eastern person. I care a lot about people, and in my philosophy, we have got 1,100 wonderful ladies and men working in our organization. They all depend on what we do and what we decide, and our job is not only, to make money for our shareholders. Our job is to make money for the shareholders so that the business continues. We have to enrich the lives of our employees. We have to look after them. And we have to delight our customers. And we have to do them all at the same time. And that was the philosophy that drove me to where I am today. David, when I say 1,100, actually, there are more than 10,000, tens of thousands of people that we influence with our actions and decisions, because they have dependents. They send money home to India and Pakistan to support their families. And the decisions that we make influences the lives of our customers. Do we do a proper job to make them happy? So it has been a great journey.
Perfect. That's a great place for us to finish, I think. Irfan, thank you for your time and your insights. And that's it from this edition of the Business Extra podcast from the National. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you, David.